Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. If you've been watching this channel for, let's just say, since the first of the year, what I'm saying today, you've heard me say before, but this is more updated. So stick around for that. If you're new to this channel, just trust me. We've talked about this subject a few times, and we've talked about it because if you've heard me say recently that a lot of this stuff that's happening is kind of a distraction, this is one of those things that people are being distracted from. Not the only thing. This isn't the big one, but it is certainly an elephant in the room. And the masses of people in the United States, they're just kind of oblivious to it. Or maybe they hear about it and they're like, yeah, that's all over with. That was back when we had the initial shutdowns or something like that. Politicians don't want to talk about it. The news media doesn't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's severe, it's serious. And that is our supply chain is in absolute chaos, and it's getting worse. If you remember, for those of you that were around, back in, I think, February-ish or something, maybe March, I can't remember exactly when, we were talking about the fact that off the coast of the LA port, which is the busiest shipping port in the United States, of how many ships were sitting out there, anchored out in the ocean, waiting to come into the port and get unloaded. This had never happened before. Usually there's no wait whatsoever. And if you, I mentioned it back then, and they're still saying it now, that on a normal, just normal time, there's never more than maybe one or two at the most ships that are anchored off port waiting, and usually never. So back in February, March or whatever, when I was talking about this, it was the most ever, and it was close to 40. I think we were talking somewhere around 36, 38, something like that. And it was fluctuating back and forth. They'd get some in, then it'd go back, get some in, and it'd go back up. And then nothing else was talked about. It was in the news then. Well, guess what? We now have, it's not gotten any better, folks. There's now between 44, 46, and 50, depending on what day you want to look at it, over the past week. There's been several records broke, let's just say that, of the amount of ships that are sitting off the coast of LA waiting to unload. That's right. So all the seriousness that some of you were aware of back when we were first made aware of this in the early part of the year, it's not got any better. And in fact, it's worse. And it's not just at the LA port. The LA port seems to be one of the worst because the LA port is where a big bulk of the Chinese stuff comes in and then gets, spread all over the country. But it's happening everywhere. Other nations are having this problem. And then it's from the problem of it getting off the ships and then getting loaded onto the trucks and then or put onto trains and getting shipped all over the place. They put it onto trucks and there's a driver shortage and there's not enough drivers to get it out. They put it on the trains and it's blockade, backed up, backlogged up in Chicago, which is one of the big central train yard distribution centers. It's backlogged. I mean, it is backed up. In fact, they shut down rail lines several weeks back. I talked about that with all of you because they were so backed up, they were saying, that they couldn't take any more cargo containers. But this isn't the only thing that's happening. You see, the point that I'm trying to make with this video, folks, is you and I and others here on YouTube have been talking about this for a while. And then it kind of fizzled away. Not really a whole lot of people have been talking about it. And there's been all kinds of stuff in the news. Our senile guy in the White House that mumbles around. We've got Afghanistan and the debacle there. We've got hurricanes. We've got floods. We've got all this other stuff going on. And a lot of people have forgotten the fact that we have a shipping crisis, a supply chain crisis here in the United States, and it's getting worse. Yeah, it started before really all of this shutdown, but that was kind of like that tipping point we had a lot of problems beforehand, but now we've got the, all those lockdowns and stuff that happened over the past 18 months in various places, restrictions and blah, blah, blah. And it's just made things worse. Another thing that's making things really bad is the cargo containers. We had a shortage of those, and now there seems to be, well, enough, but they're just full of stuff sitting everywhere and can't get unloaded. But the real problem is the cost to ship one of these. 2 or 3 years ago, you could have one of those big cargo containers filled with whatever you wanted to, and have it shipped from China to probably, let's say, LA for anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000. It varied, but that was kind of the going cost. Yeah, it's a lot more than that now. Back in February, the costs were in the neighborhood of $8,000, $9,000. Then it was $10,000. Now we're looking at anywhere between, on the very lowest end that I could find, the most conservative low end number that I could find was around $15,000 per shipping container. And most places are reporting in the neighborhood of 25 to 30,000. In fact, here's an article here talking about shipping costs as high as $32,000 a shipping container. Some of these shipping containers don't even have $30,000 worth of merchandise in them. I mean, think about it. You guys know what I'm talking about, a lot of you, those big shipping containers. What if it's full of couches? I guarantee you, unless they're really expensive couches, that's not $30,000 worth of couches. Very possibly. Refrigerators. They're saying that, one of these things full of refrigerators might be $35,000 or more, depending on the refrigerator, obviously. And then their cost, the cost to have the thing shipped is almost as much as what the refrigerator itself costs. The sky is just exploding when the prices, with these prices of shipping. And it's affecting everything. Places aren't getting their goods. I mean, I know, I hear a lot of you, and there's going to be someone, at least some people in the comments that say this. Well, I go to my local grocery store and everything looks fine there. I mean, I go to Walmart and, shelves look pretty good. I mean, their trucks are coming in all the time. Yes, some places that is true. But the big thing that's changed is that, because you have to understand how most grocery stores, especially Walmart, but most all grocery stores are this way now, big chain grocery stores, is how they order stuff. It's all a perfectly planned orchestration. And that truck that they're getting a delivery is scheduled to come in just at the point that they start running out of stuff. So that you never actually see that the shelves are really bare, except now things are changed. Now they're not getting the trucks on time. Now they're not getting the stuff that they need. And so little by little, it may be a few hours behind, it may be a few days behind. And so more and more, not everywhere, I get it, probably not in your town, but a lot of you tell me it is. And I've seen it in the areas around myself, certain places that we've gone, that most certainly there are times that you can go in and you can find lots of bare shelves. Lots of things, meat, milk, eggs, canned foods, pastas, cereals, all kinds of stuff, just gone. Nothing there. This is getting worse, and it's only going to get worse. This is a serious storm brewing. In fact, some people in the industry are reporting that there's no end in sight. There's no end in sight on the cost of shipping containers. There's no end in sight on the fact that they can't handle the backlog. It's gotten so bad that they would have to, no telling how many new employees they would have to hire to handle this. And that's the thing. No one's coming to fill these positions. I mean, look at the recent job numbers. They were expecting something like 750,000 new jobs, and it was like 250,000 new jobs. I know I'm ballparking the numbers. So it was roughly 500,000 new jobs that they were expecting to be created. I know I hate using that word because that's not usually the what's going on, and so about 500,000 jobs that were expected didn't happen this time around. They're talking about the GDP. This new quarter is going to be substantially lower than than expectations. The market is slowing down. Remember back a few months ago, we were told that, things are we have a little down, just, this V-shaped kind of economy, but it's gonna pick up. This is just temporary. Well, it's not temporary, folks. It's not. There's a local grocery store, small one, not too far from, that we go to around here. And I got to know the guy that owns the place. It's a mom and pop kind of place. And he was showing me, because we were talking about this, and he was showing me, he said, let me show you my books. Let me show you what I order. And so he pulls out, this book that he orders from. He said, this is my most recent order. And it was 3 pages, item, 3 pages, or close to 3, 2 3/4 pages, whatever. He said, this was my order that I put in. And he pulled out the shipping order, whatever. Mine just went blank for receiving it. He said, this is what I got. It was 4 items. So he put in an order of 2 and almost 3 pages of items, food items. Most of it was food. Obviously, there's some non-food items. And out of all that, he received 4 items. 4 items. He said, this is becoming a normal thing. He says, we're just not able to keep up. He said, they're just, they're not able to keep up. They can't get so many things. He said, there's a lot of products that their customers have, regularly coming in asking about, that they've used a particular product for such a long time and they like that product and they can't get it anymore. He said, we order as much as we can. He says, but we're just not getting it. He said, or a truck just won't show up. And I talked to another person, a little convenience store. They said the same thing. I've been told that now by 2 stores that have like grocery items. I've also talked to other YouTubers, and they're, one particular guy we talk, and he said his listeners are telling him the same thing. And I've had some of you email me telling me the same thing. These products are not coming in. They're just not there. They're either not there or they're sitting in a shipping container on some port or some ship way out in the ocean or in some rail yard somewhere that no one knows, and you don't know when you're going to get it. If you were to go order a couch or a refrigerator or something like that now, good luck. Good luck. There's another story time with Travis. The local hardware store that we go to, they used to carry a lot of appliances. It's one of these old-fashioned hardware stores, that has just everything. Whatever you want, they got it. Lumber and all kinds of stuff. And they used to carry appliances. And I was in there a month or 2 ago, I guess. And one of the employees, all these appliances, washing machines, dryers, refrigerators, dishwashers, probably other things that I'm not thinking of right now. Oh, window air conditioners, that kind of stuff. They have a whole section with all those things sitting out, displayed. They had one, it was either a washing machine or dryer. I can't remember, doesn't matter. They had one sitting there. The whole area was empty. And I asked the guy, I said, have you guys not stocked up? Like, is stuff in the back somewhere in a warehouse? He said, no, this is all we've got. He said, we're just not getting anything. He said, this is it. Same way with cars and trucks. We've talked about this before. Thousands and thousands and thousands of new cars are just sitting. Of course, they don't have microchips. That's the problem from them. I saw someone post the other day, I think it was on Twitter, and it was a car lot, a Chevy dealership. And it appeared to be a very large Chevy dealership. And the guy posting said he was a salesman for the dealership. And he posted a picture of this parking lot, and he said, this lot is usually filled with our new vehicles inventory. There were 4 vehicles sitting there, 2 trucks and I think 2 cars. That was it. The point to me saying all this is, and there's more, I could go on, but the point is, folks, I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, so don't do whatever you're going to do based on my feeling. Research it yourself, search yourself, try to figure out the truth yourself. We're going to start seeing some serious things happening. We're going to see things get really tight. The cost of things have gone up considerably. If you look at some of this stuff, we're looking at price increases of 25 and 35%. In fact, Canadian Prepper, which is a huge prepper channel, he did a great video just the other day on this, and he was showing some of the products that he sells, you know, freeze-dried foods, that the cost has gone up, like a number 10 can, but the amount that's in it's gone down by 10%. He said, so they've raised the prices 25%, and they've reduced the quantity that you're getting by 10%. So it's like a 35% increase. This is gonna start adding up. It's gonna start catching up with people soon. And come this winter, maybe that's it. All these, you know, refugees coming in, all these people getting evicted from their homes, possibly weather. We've already had a lot of extreme weather with the hurricane and the floods. There could be definitely more. There's already, you know, rumors of other storms possibly heading in, if they hit the coast or not. The point is we're riding right now this nation. We're on a very thin line, like we're riding on a hair thin line, and it would not take much to knock us off that line, folks. If you haven't done it, it's time to get ready. It's time to start stocking up. It's time to take it serious. If you have been, that's great. Don't stop. There's always areas. No one is perfectly prepared. There are areas you can certainly stock up on. And everything right now seems to be affected. Some things are only being affected a small amount, but I don't know of anything that's not being affected by this. And when you add it all up, and I haven't, all the rising costs of things, the reduction of the amounts, the shrinkflation, and just the fact that you can't get certain things, it's all kind of coming together. And at some point, we're going to reach our breaking point as a nation. And that added to all this other stuff that's happening, it could mean some pretty rough times are ahead of us right now. So all the stuff that's been going on with the shipping and all that, it's not over, folks. You just haven't been hearing about it in the news. It's still happening, and it's actually worse. So get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.